Alright, how's it going? So now we're going to be making this part here. Okay, it's a piece of aluminum. I've already drilled 2 holes in all of them. We're going to be putting a 0.4 slot 3/8 down and a 0.250 slot 3/8 through. Okay, so the slot goes all the way through. The fatter side is for a retaining bolt so that the bolt doesn't need a wrench, and it's an adjustment bracket. Here's the piece here we're going to be working on. See if you can see the vise good. Alright, so we're going to be setting it up on a Bridgeport. It's an old mill, 1950s. An oldie but goodie, we'll say. Alright, I don't have a DRO. I got 6 of these to make. It's going to be repeated cuts. So we're going to show you a way to do repeated work without a DRO and how to indicate all that up. Okay. Alright, so I've clamped a dial indicator on the back, and we're indicating the center of 0. I've clamped it up and it's, focus in on that, clamped it up and it's moved 4,000, so I have to reclamp that. Okay, and that's going to indicate to my center on my stock. What we're going to do now is use the zigzag trick, bring down the quill so my cutter is going to hit the center of my workpiece, and we're going to come back just until this gets a little firmness on it there. Okay, there's a little drag there. That should be putting us at 1/1000th of an inch off of the edge of the cutter. Now I have to account for the center of the cutter. It's a 0.250 cutter. Half of that is 0.125. So I'm going to adjust for center for that. And then what I'll do is, see if we're focused here, adjust for the center of that. Then I have an indicator on the edge of my vise. Once I get adjusted for my center, I'll realign that to 0, and then I'll work into the starting point of my workpiece. Alright, so now we got the end mill set to the center of the workpiece, right, accounting for the center of the end mill. I've come over and I've indicated my dial indicator to 0. I have a parallax effect here because we're off center of the camera. Now I'm going to move it in 1 inch, 0.250 to get to my starting point. Okay, so that's going to be, sorry about the shakiness here, 1/100,000ths and 200,000ths, 300,000ths, 400,000ths, 500,000ths, and I think I'm going to have to recalibrate there, 500,000ths, 600,000ths, okay, and I'm going to stop there, 600,000ths, and I'm going to have to recalibrate. Alright, so you have to bear with me, it's taking some time. But so now I got my one stop set at 0. See if that's easy to see there. Okay, at 0. I have a witness mark there on my piece, so when I get close to that I can start looking for my 0 on my indicator. I have this indicator here set as well, so that when it gets to the opposite witness mark, it will read 0. And this is the DRO of the man who does not have a DRO. Alright, so now what we're going to do is we're going to start milling 0.250 or a 1/4 inch slot almost all the way through the piece, and we'll continue as soon as I get going. Okay, so I'm going to lock my table in. What I'll do is I'll mill 1 hole all the way through. I'll raise the mill all the way up, travel to the other side to my opposite 0. I'll mill all the way through the part as well, and then I'll be able to transverse the workpiece entering into those pre-drilled areas as some sort of relief. Alright, so let's see how this works out. I think I'll use my Z feed to come up. I'll touch off. Set my Z to 0. I'll come up. All the way through the piece. Alright, the cutter gummed up just a little bit. So what I'll do now is unlock my table. I'll come over to my other axis. Looking for my indication mark of when I should look at my indicator for 0. Call that about perfect there. Lock the table. Looks like the WD helped keep the cutter from gumming up too much. We've got a little bit of galling there. Start taking some passes back and forth to go right through the workpiece. Auto feed. is about 40 thousandths of a cut. We'll continue with around that. Come up another 50. Come up another 50. I don't know how clear that picture is there. Come up another 50. Gauge auto feed. Okay, we're going to make some repeated cuts in this 1-inch bar stock aluminum. We're going to be making a groove in it 1.178 in diameter to receive an actuator. Okay, so the actuator fits in there like that. Okay, no DRO. I have a dial gauge indicator off the back. We'll make our first cut. We're cutting right to 0.093 of an inch depth. That's a 5/8 cutter. 0.625. I'll be making 2 passes. It's 6061 aluminum. Setting my dial indicator to 0, and I'll be moving it back 563 thousandths to give me my final cut. Okay, move it back now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 3, count for the table lock, start her up, do our second cut. Okay, we'll just clean it up, see, make sure our part fits. Actuator fits in there nice and smooth, very little play. It's going to get anodized, might have to clean it up a little bit after. We'll set up the next block. Like I said, there's no DRO. This is a 1950s Bridgeport milling machine, J2 head. Set it up to cut for 8 pieces. I've already faced them off to 3 inches. Actually 3.80. Set the part in there. Alright, I'm running around 700 RPM, the 5/8 end mill. See if I can't get you in for a little nicer close-up on this cut. After this piece I got one more. Alright, like I said, we don't have no digital readout. Using a dial indicator, once I release my table lock, the y-axis I reset to 0. Okay, I don't know if that comes up clear enough. Then we're going to move over .563. Alright, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5, 5, 5, 6, 5, 3. Count for the table lock. I actually want 5, 6, 5. Okay, I'll set up for my last cut. Give you a little shot of the mill. 1950s Bridgeport J2 head. A newer power feed on there, and I got one more part to go after this one. Clean it up, make sure our part fits. Okay, I'll try in the actuator. Make sure you can see it. See the pile over there of parts I've already done. And if it's a nice one part to go. Alright, there's all 8 parts. Okay, there's my DRO right there. Okay, nice cheap dial indicator from KBC. Came with the stand for around 60 bucks. Can't go wrong. Alright. I still have a couple more operations to do on these before I'm done.